Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we are live on a Saturday for morning by 1 minute, ready to do some podcasting. Find us everywhere you find podcasts. Search the Blackout Tips. Leave us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. If they're nice, we'll read them on the show. And if we don't get any, you get an extra commercial break when you listen to it later. And there's nothing you can do about it except leave us a 5-star review.
That's all we ask.
The official weapon of the show is
folding chair,
and the unofficial sport
bullet ball.
And bullet ball, extreme. You guys know what it is. Everything in the show notes is how you do the contact information so that we can holler at you and you can holler at us. We also have people that give money to the show. They're out of the kindness and the goodness of their heart. They just go to the right hand side and they go, hey, I want to break y'all off a little something. We break us off then. And they do. And we give them a shout out for that.
May I have your attention? You are now listening to Charlotte's own Rod and Karen. We welcome the good folks who tithe to the Black Guy Who Tips.
That's right. New handouts, new shout outs. Bambi, Dr. Professor Bambi. Falcons Diva with the recurring donation. Jason F, appreciate you. Derek L W, Ken M, Lawrence C, Zach from the Living Corporate Podcast, Christoph R, Preston aka Team Dro from the Slang of Ages podcast, Matthew W, thank you very much, Matthew. And that's everybody who donated this week. We appreciate y'all. Thank you for the money. And we didn't get any new 5-star reviews. Haven't got one since the end of July.
Wow.
Right. So
it's too many of y'all not to have at least one.
Let me play this beat. This song by Issa Balu, and commercial's gonna be in here. So here you go.
Hey.
This is crazy.
Hope y'all enjoyed those commercials.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's get back to our regularly scheduled program. 3135, The Idiots Folder was the first episode and the feedback episode. We got comments. Apia says, now I'm thinking about my new rebellious rule-breaking raps names. Doing math for fun on Sunday. Early to bed is my jam. And yoga every day will blow your mind. I'm a really dangerous woman who lives on the edge, as you can see. Yes, I can see it. She says, about personal data, let me take an example from my white European life. After I had children, I decided never to mention them on my CV. I don't know what CV is. Because what's more likely in the world that it would help me look at that Apia killing it at work and being a mother. Let's give her more money or hurt me. That Apia has children now, so she will call in sick nonstop and the job isn't her priority anymore. Definitely the second. So I didn't ever talk about it during my job interview, and so didn't the potential employer. Has never been an issue. Giving more data when necessary is trusting the other side to do the morally right thing. Yeah, I think that's totally different. My question to her was, does your government have a record that you have children? Because I'm pretty sure they do, right? That's the government, and whatever information they use that for good or bad, is depending on who's at top. But there's a birth certificate, there's records of kids being in school, shit like that. You're not living off the grid. She says, of course, and it makes sense. Children need health insurance, school, their IDs, right? And so do black children, which is why we report we have kids on the census. I'm not trying to turn it into a debate mostly, but or I shouldn't say that. I'm not trying to turn this into an insult is what I'm saying. I'm from America. I'm black. You just gonna have to take my word on it. I know better than you on this. And I mean, you can disagree, of course. You can feel however you want to feel. But even the idea of this, not doing the census, living off the grid, is very white informed. It's not informed by what we go through here. It's not informed by literally hundreds of years of having to collect the data to prove our point to get the things that we have gotten in a country where
we have to go by numbers because they're not gonna go by anything else.
Yeah, in a country where we started out as slaves, black people like Ida B. Wells did the dangerous work of collecting the exact data of people being lynched, why they were lynched, where it was happening, risking her life to do so. Yes. In order for us to finally pass anti-lynching legislation, it had to be data informed. They would not go by vibes, and they would not believe us based on our own testimony because we are black, and they just decided not to. The real issue is who gets to be in charge in America.
Yes.
And when we let people who are nefarious be in charge, they will use all the government resources for nefarious purposes, regardless of what data you give them or don't give them. The data to them is not justification as much as it is just another tool they can wield. So the discussion that we're really having is more about who's in charge and less about the idea of data is always bad. Don't ever tell people anything. That's not how it has worked for progress in America for black people. Data has been the thing that supports our truth and gives us evidence. It has been the lack of data that leads to stereotypes, that leads to anecdotal bullshit like black people are on welfare and they're welfare queens and they don't have fathers in their home. These are all things that are considered to be the truth in absence of data.
Right.
It is us coming up with the actual numbers to be like, that is not true, that pushes back on that and gives us some actual real assistance in ways that the government can help our community. So while you might see this as more of a like theoretical debate or some ideological difference, I'm telling you that it is my lived experience, and to me, I'm not going to be swayed on this, and not on some stubborn like I'm always right, but on some literal like it would be like me telling you like, no, what Germany needs to do. I don't fucking know anything about Germany. I don't know enough to tell you in your lived experience of every day of like, this is what Germans should do with their government, and this is how Polish people should act in Germany. I don't fucking know, and so I'm not gonna assume. We will not get punished somehow because we have kids, but I don't want to argue about this issue. I just see that in the current political climate, there will be no help for communities in need. There will be more attempts to make their vote count less, and I really don't like this. Yeah, and that was what was going to happen when they took office, no matter what the data said.
Agreed.
They were going to do that, period.
Agreed. And that's where a lot of my sadness and anger and shit came from. But in the chat, they were saying CV is a resume.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't even know you could put kids on a resume. That's different.
Yeah, the
I guess
kids
some
ain't
people
applying for the job.
Yeah, I guess maybe people put mom as a job or something. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know people were even doing that on resumes.
Mm-mm.
But I definitely understand and agree that people will use stuff like that against women in the workplace. So don't think I'm telling you that, oh no, that's not real. Like, no, it's absolutely real, and I respect your experience as a woman, one that I don't have, and I see how you could arrive to that conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for me to tell you like, well, I disagree, you should tell everyone you have kids. Like, no, what do I know about how work goes in Germany? Sean says data is a dual-edged sword. It can be used to target vulnerable populations for good or ill. The lack of racial data in France and Germany has led to an inability to track and address systemic racism. That being said, having data alone is not enough. The systemic sidelining and erasure of Ainu and Ryukyu culture language in Japan continues to happen with data available to see it. This also goes back to something you talked about earlier, making English the official language. It still is not legally the official language of the United States, to clarify, because Japanese is the official language in Japan. Ainu, mainly Hokkaido and the Northern Islands, and Ryukyu, mainly Okinawa and the Southern Islands, languages could not be used in schools. While it is now legal to speak those languages and teach them as secondary subject matter, they are now on the verge of extinction. Sorry to bring it down. Rona Raphael says the Idiots Folders is a splendid idea for the Parava Quran, and he loves it. I sure wrote that down. Thanks for sharing that. As for the society being cooked, you damn right. Did you not see a trainer of ninjas in Japan take a break from dropping mad data info to stab the artist formerly known as Ronin in the back? No honor, no rules. We back to the Wild West, my brother. play I Want to Know What Love Is. I won't be playing that, and I also don't understand what you mean. I'm guessing Sean disagreed with you.
So now you feel betrayed.
Yeah, we are definitely cooked as a society, says Eva E. I still have a little hope, but it's the size of a gnat. Let's see what YouTube comments we got. 6 comments. All right, let's see what we got here. Dark Namja says, Charles Atlas comic book advertisement and fitness program from the 1950s. The advertiser depicted a skinny young man being bullied on the beach and then transforming himself into a muscular, confident individual who stands up to the bully. This transformation was achieved through Atlas's dynamic tension method, a form of exercise that uses the body's own resistance. Yes, I remember that. A good and deep feedback podcast episode. Thanks. No problem. Leonardo says, everything is hyper individualized now. Yes, that's a great way to put it. So much of our, like I said, I keep saying, but so much of our reality is just not shared with each other.
No, it's not.
It's just not. Like I talk, and I don't mean because I'm in a totally different world than everybody. I just mean like even people I'm close to, they'll come to you with like something that has like this very urgent to them, like, oh, are you seeing all of this? And it's like, no. And in my mind, I have a different urgent thing that I'm seeing, and they're like, what? When did that happen? Oh, we're cooked. JJ Smile says, Rod, I really appreciate what you're saying about us being cooked as a society. I remember when people started saying, this is my truth, and me being like, well, what is the truth? I have a friend who voted for the Orange Man, and anytime I tried to discuss the harm he was planning to do, she would cut me off and move the goalpost. So I stopped arguing and just met her where I could. And as for the next QAnon, I really think that's the FBA people, the foundational Black Africans, the people that are very much like Black people born in America, different than Black people throughout the diaspora. We need specific ask and specific programs that are geared towards us. But in a lot of practice online, it to me doesn't come off as what I just said. It comes off as like this weird diaspora war shit. And y'all know I don't play about that. It's just not, that's a non-starter for me. Is hey, Black people hating each other because of where we're from, something we cannot control.
And
it's
the dumbest shit ever.
Yeah, and something that white supremacy has taught us about each other.
Yes, on both sides.
And I don't like the discussion because every time you start to have this discussion, everyone talks about their slights first and foremost, and then they get defensive when you talk about the slights that we have impacted on each other. And that's such a fruitless point and fruitless conversation for me. And for example, in practice, it would be something like, you know, man, these African people, they come to this country and they look down on us. They think we don't have culture and stuff, and they think, you know, they're better than us because they come from other countries, and they're standing on the backs of the progress that we've made and the civil rights that we fought for, and they're benefiting from it, and yet they still don't want to be part of our community. And I'm not saying that's not true. I think there's many cases where that is true.
Agreed.
But if I were to also be like, yeah, I hear you, and Black people in America have been taught that that Africans are uncivilized and poor and third world,
yes,
and backwards and culturally, you know, whatever. It's like that shit is like, no, that's different. Like, come on, we not like, we've ostracized African people in America. We've ostracized Jamaican people sometimes. Not all of us. Yeah, much of our culture is very inclusive and
but some
and blended. But when we have these conversations, those blends aren't what we talk about. We only want to talk about the blending to offset the pointed barbs at the other side. Like, no. I love some of my favorite people Jamaican. Right after you just kind of like said that Jamaicans hate us or whatever. Like, so it's not that the animosity doesn't exist. It's not that it's not true. It's not, but it is not a conversation that is seeking to be solved or seeking to be held within community. The FBA conversation very much centers on Black people who are descendants of slavery, born and bred in America. Us first, and then maybe them, other Black people, maybe. But all I'm seeing is it reducing the size of Blackness smaller and smaller until the coalition is no longer coalition. And so leading with that question is such a disingenuous thing because it's not a good catch-all. Some people, it absolutely is. You look at them and you go, that person is saying that because they are not American Black and they do not identify with American black struggle, and they don't know enough of our history, and so they have some stereotypes they plucked from white supremacy and shit. And that's why, like, when you see like Emmanuel Acho doing conversations with a black man, and it's very conservative, almost Republican talking points, very conciliatory towards racism, there's something in me that goes, yeah, that's because he's not really identifying with black Americans. No black American is sitting there and standing for this shit. And yet at the same time, that while that conflict is real, I don't want to say Emmanuel Acho is all black people from Africa, all black people not from America, because I don't think that's fair. So yeah, I think it is prime for that QAnon shit, because it's a very online movement. You say FBA out in the general public, it's not really that many people that's gonna be like, oh yeah, I know what you mean. Like, it's very online, the whole like Tariq Nasheed, Dr. Umar, like that. I'm not saying it doesn't have an impact, but like, I don't walk in rooms of black people. I don't go play basketball and then we're on the sideline being like, well, you know, FBA. So it feels kind of QAnon-ish in that it is very hyperbolic online, but not necessarily translating to all of our general experience.
Yeah, and also it's one of those things, it still seeps in white supremacy. Like the results are the same, the actions are the same, the conduct is the same. You're eliminating and pushing out and saying you're not part of, almost like you're going pure blood type of thing, but you cloaking it in blackness. But the actions is this, because this is the exact same thing that white people do to us. White people, the Jews weren't always included. Italians weren't always included. Like, they did that. If you were not, quote unquote, pure white blood, whatever the fuck that actually means, because we all mixed with something, whatever that means, you were excluded from the group. It's dumb. It doesn't make sense. And like, I'm like you, is we can't have a conversation. We can't, we like, you bring that up, I'm leaving the room. The fuck are you talking about? You sound dumb.
Yeah, I'm not spending all day arguing with other black people about shit that is not, it's coming from above us, and we're not finding a solution by pointing out who's from where. That,
right.
Like, maybe if I felt that there was some sort of learning, education, some sort of like commonality being reached, maybe I'd feel differently, but I don't see that work being done. I see a lot more like, you shouldn't be able to talk about this type of shit. Sometimes I look in the comments on Instagram, I realize there are so many more comments from these crazy people than it used to be. Also, Rod, I love the Storm shirt you were wearing. Hopefully you're reading the new Storm series by Murewa Ayodele. He's really good and has some other comics he's created too. I have saved all those books. I haven't started reading them yet, but I actually literally coincidentally just put all those on Karen's tablet in case she wanted to read Storm as well. But I saw it got to 11 issues. Like, I let Storm books pile up because too many times they start a Storm comic and then they cancel that shit like 4 issues in, and that pisses me off.
Yes, I think that happened. It's been years since I read a Storm book, but it was one and everybody raved about it, and I went. I was like, the fuck? And it was like, no more.
The art wasn't good. They switched artists too soon. So.
Yes.
But I'm totally in for the Storm thing, and we'll see where it goes. Let's see. The poll. The poll was, are we cooked as a society? 98% yes. Mm-hmm. Shout out to that one person that said nah, though. Shout out to you.
Having faith.
You're a real G for that. All right, let's see. Let's go to the next episode. Wreckful driving 3136. We got 5 comments on this one. Apia says, one more rap idea. Driving at a reasonable speed makes me super hot in a sexy way, not the hot flashes way. All right, well, good luck. Maybe that sounds different in German.
Menopause rap.
Maybe that rhymes in German. I think it needs a little work in English.
That would bring the heat. Everything would be hot.
Sean says, erasing a 1,234 word message about the etymology of wreck being from the Old English word for care. Scanning the room, see if anyone noticed. I almost typed a punch down of the week typos. Nothing to see here. Silently homers into the bushes.
That's hilarious.
Thanks for not writing that. Rona Raphael says, being someone who was officially addressed as uncle since the age of 12 of my family, I can't even pretend to fake outrage when a YN calls me unc because I've been in the game before I knew the game. I just acknowledge and laugh inside. Maybe if a wigger addressed me as unc, it might change and I'll be like, time to pay up, white nephew. I don't know. Too much work for me. Apia says, in Poland, not related people are called aunt and uncle as a sign of respect. By younger people, it seems to be pretty much the same concept. Yeah, I think so. You know, I like I said, I don't know if it's a white Americans don't really have it here, at least from my experience.
Yeah, from my understanding.
Like they don't even say uncle, like for a stranger to be like, hey, uncle, let me get. They don't have it, and black people have unc and auntie, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know why we don't have a white equivalent. And when people try to give me examples of white equivalents, they're not the same. It's, you know, hoss, boss, old man, geezer. These are not the same as you're part of my family. And
right,
if anything, I think some white people might rightfully get offended by you being a stranger being like, hey, geezer, how much is gas at this gas station? Like, nah. But if you saw me coming out the gas station, it was like, hey, unc, let me ask you something. I wouldn't be like, what the fuck? Like, I'd be like, oh yeah, what's up, man? You know. But I also am a little more comfortable, I think, with the idea of aging. Like it's just a thing that happens. I don't,
and you can't control it.
Yeah, I'm not in love with it like Karen, where she likes being old and calling people old and acting old. It's not that, but it's just, I feel like, you know, recognition that that I've been here for a certain amount of time that's life, you know. Evie says, I don't mind being called auntie by younger people. I'm a middle-aged woman and have no delusions about that. I live up north now, but I'm from the South, and it was always jarring to me little kids called adults by their first names. I have always taught my kid to add a miss or a Mr. in front of someone's name who is significantly older than them, because that's a sign of respect. Yeah, I grew up that way too. I am someone's auntie, so if some kid or young person call me auntie, I don't mind. But I also think it's a community thing as well. I don't mind if other black people refer to me as auntie. Non-blacks, it kind of feels different because they're not of the community. I've never had a non-black person refer to me as unc. And you're right, I wouldn't know how to take that. Not that I'd be offended, but it would be it'd be off-putting to me to be like, what? So yeah, maybe, yeah, it definitely feel like a cultural thing. Although now that I think about it, I wonder what would happen if it was like I was hanging out with an Indian family who does say auntie and stuff like that, and then they call somebody auntie. I wonder if that would feel different, where it's like, no, that's still that culturally that a similarity between us, right? You know, like if you like Kamala Harris being referred to as auntie from her black or Indian side, I feel like there's no need for her. And of course they are family, but I'm saying like that wouldn't rub me wrong necessarily. I see that as a term of endearment coming from both sides of that. But yeah, interesting. And then YouTube, man, we had 19 comments.
The hell we talking about?
Happy anniversary, says just share. Well, just here, our anniversary is September the 2nd. We were just reminding y'all that if you would like to whether support the show or just show your support for the show, on September the 2nd, we're going to have like people are going to post pictures of themselves and their gear and their merch and all the other paraphernalia they've gotten for the Blackout Tips, and we're going to turn around and spotlight that and shine that on social media for Blackout Tips Day. So like we would like to celebrate it, and it just happens to also be our wedding anniversary on September the 2nd. So not yet. September the 2nd is when it is. Sean says, nah, we do ride instead of unc. We went straight to grandpa and it was complete disrespect. Well, at least in Australia we do. Happy anniversary, guys. Oh, so y'all white people in Australia go straight to gramps? That is, and like you said, it's complete disrespect. Yeah, I can't see it as a positive.
No, nah, gramps.
Yeah, calling a stranger gramps. Woof. KJ Tipperton says, Chef Curry ain't got nothing on Karen's range. From crowd work, Dear Brother Rod, roasting Karen, traffic talk time Karen, Honey Baby Sweetest Southern Auntie Karen, Isekai Anime and Cozy Game Aficionado Karen, and of course as she showed with her response to the Treasury Department story, No Bitch Suck My Dick, Tiny Cauldron of Rage, Thug Life Karen, and yo, I'm here for all of it. I'm here for all of them. Although not too much on our brother Rod. The New Glass is a sharp player. I got your back, homie. But like way back when Thug Life Karen is on the block, I don't want them problems. I feel you.
You ain't gonna have them problems. I just like mess with my baby.
Nasty Knack says, with a what are we going to do with these people sign.
Come on, what are we gonna do?
United Until says, someone calling me unc only bothers me when it's someone my age or older calling me that. Another experience I haven't had. Maybe I have to have it before I feel that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Normally it's somebody younger.
I don't know why they would do that.
Mm-mm.
Like, what scenario would someone my age or older refer to me as Unc? Maybe as a joke. I don't know. I'm sure it happens. I just can't imagine. Dark Namda says, good show, thanks. Douglas says, that battle of the sexes really was a great pick right after the politics. We all needed that. Yeah, that was a funny one. When it was his kids and her birthday. That was beautiful. Shout out to that family. I love that.
Hilarious.
Damien says, bro, I rode around super dirty on multiple occasions. I forgot to pay my tags for almost 2 years. Don't ask me how that happened, because it wasn't intentional, and I rode around with my tags in my glove box intentionally for at least a few years before on another vehicle. You was playing with fire, bro. I think what's crazy is I remember one time the DMV had my old address and didn't update it to my new address, and so I had a couple of months where my tag was I had my tag expired, and then because my apartment complex drives around and checks the car tags at night or whatever, make sure whatever, people not stealing cars or some shit, but they put a sticker to be like, hey, your tags expired. And so it was because of them. I literally, that next morning I saw that, cut all my plans off, went to the DMV, got my tag updated, because I don't play, man. I just don't. And we live on a black side of town, so cops is constantly just riding around here and just doing that auto check your tag in the back shit. And I don't ever want to get a police the excuse to pull me over for some shit that that
could have been avoided.
You just never know. I don't trust them.
Yeah, if I ain't got the 5, that's different, but I got the 5.
Yeah. Provocative as fuck says, or provocative AF, what's cracking, cuz? Shout out to my favorite Mr. and Mrs. Blackout tips. Y'all conversations are always on point. I got nothing but love for y'all. Karen, you are a true powerhouse. That was politics. Now we mad at LOL, y'all the greatest. I appreciate the content. Like you said a few shows ago, Rod, this isn't the type of content anywhere. There isn't this type of content anywhere. I totally agree. Thanks for providing such a wonderful community. Be easy, y'all. Eric, the gender war was fire to me. It was funny. Dogs, I'm dying. We sure needed that laugh. Yeah, we did. And thank you, man. It is perplexing that the type of show we do, which I don't see being done other places, it is perplexing that we haven't caught on in some ways or been bigger, but in other ways I'm very thankful, because I don't necessarily want to deal with what comes with that bigger stage where I've
seen other people go through it. It's something else.
Yeah, you see the scrutiny, you see the invited opinions and that you didn't really invite, that are judging your every move and judging your every look and your body and your clothes, and it's just, we've dealt with that a little bit, where I've read like a forum or something that just is very superficially negative commenting on a show and us as people, and it's like, well, I guess we should just stay the size we are, because I don't want to be, I can't even look at feedback to my own show, you know what I mean, without feeling terrible. Like, I don't want to go through that. JJ Smile says, the segment about Rod's glasses was hilarious. I even zoomed in to get a closer look. Also, Rod couldn't wait to point out Karen was mean to him about the glasses. Yeah, because y'all always try to make it seem like she's such a fucking sweetheart. She's very mean and very rude when she wants to be funny.
Not mean and rude.
Yeah, okay, whatever. And then y'all can't believe you let Karen order a hot dog like she's an adult. Oh, you mean a man should have stepped in and so the lady will have nothing but cheese and fries? Like, no, she's an adult, and you guys treat her like a kid, and then when she's beating me up, y'all ain't got nothing to say.
I would never
it's so
beat
adorable.
you up.
Love the show, you guys. Love listening y'all every week. Please keep it up.
Thank you.
The girl on the other side of the road says, the thing is, these jeans are not even good. It made her body so boxy. Man, I try not to comment on people's bodies too much. So this is not a general Sydney Sweeney situation. So, I recognize, I understand she's an attractive woman. Like, that's not...
She's very pretty.
But also, I'll die, and I will never understand. I'll never be able to know, what is it that make white-centric people... Like, what is it that they think makes a butt look good? I'll never know.
Because what we think is completely different. I was like, we don't mean the same thing.
Because trust me, I thought the same thing when I saw the jeans. I was like, that's not doing her a lot of favors. And but honest to God, I know that JL Covan probably got harder than a box of rocks. Like, I don't like, certain people are gonna be like, yes, that's it, that's the butt. I'm just joking, JL. I know you like the thick Latin woman at your Catholic church. I'm just joking. That was just jokes. I wasn't really trying to slander you for real, but I'm just saying, like, there's certain people that my whole life has been like that. I used to know a dude that when I had white friends, he used to be like, oh man, I'm a butt man. I was like, finally, somebody with some taste around here. And then he was sending pictures of women or point out like this celebrity or did you see this ad or whatever. And every time I'd be like, I mean, sure. You know what I mean? It's like, look at those buns. I'm like, they're not bunned up. Right. I mean, I don't want to, look, you like it, I love it.
You like it, I love it, baby.
But no, that is not what I was thinking of when I closed my eyes and thought about cheeks. I wasn't thinking of those tight buns. No, I'm sorry,
Yeah, and jeans are cut like different types of ways and things like that. Is one of them things was similar to you. I looked and I was like, okay, they're jeans.
Yeah, if it was I don't know. Like I and then when I would be like, oh, but did you see like this person's cheeks? He'd be like, whoa, that's just too much. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, we're not on the same page.
Just stop talking to me then, you fake poser. Anyway, thank you for blessing us with a Ballsy Sports, says Christoph. Hey, we try to give the free listeners a little something every once in a while. Although if you're premium, there's no ads for those episodes that are premium behind the paywall. But if you're not premium, I did put a lot of ads in there because we got to make some money if we're going to give you guys something free. It just is what it is, but hopefully it gives you guys a little taste. And if you enjoy those things and you can afford it, you can go to theblackguywhotips.com/premium, or you can go to the Patreon, the Black Guy Who Tips, and sign up there. And you can even pay for posts individually. So if you're just like, look, I don't really tap in enough to really be a premium person that gets 2 to 3 episodes a week that are like, premium behind the paywall, but maybe I want to just a la carte be like, oh, I'd like to see what they had to say about this specific story on Ballsy Sports. You can do that. And you can also go to Just a Tip, where you get like one bonus episode that's random every week. And so it could be a movie review, it could be Ballsy Sports, it could be the Nerd Off, it could be pregame, it could be Lip Smacking Good, it could be pretty much anything. But so anyway, those are your options. And thank you to everyone signing up for the Patreon.
Yeah, we see it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're getting people that signed up. Some people are moving over that are like prefer to keep everything in one place with Patreon, and the RSS feeds work for them and all that stuff. I think right now we have 58 total members, 21 people that are paid that signed up. We're almost at $200 a month off of the Patreon, so glad I started it. We'll see if we if that grows more and whatnot, but we'll keep pumping it. It'll be in the show notes, in the links for you guys to be able to share and sign up yourselves if you would like to. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then technical show note, I initially uploaded the audio of the Nerd Off without the guest on it, so it sounds like just me and Karen
just talking,
and when other people are talking, it's just sounds like silence. I fixed it and I have uploaded that instead, so it should be everywhere. Patreon, it should be in your RSS feeds, it should be on the website as well. I deleted the old post, so whatever post you see there for the latest, the Nerd Off is the correct audio. All right, let's see. Christoph says, like Rod, I also agree that Sydney Sweeney has a flat butt. That wasn't the point of that segment, but it is. Hey, if that's what y'all like, fine. I don't think people should have to feel bad about not having a big butt. Okay, there's plenty of people that don't have big butts, and that's okay. Okay, she got them big old titties, and she's making a living off of slowing them in people's faces. She know what she's doing. Congratulations to her. White people don't really care that much about butts. I still never forgive them for what they made J-Lo do,
Right.
I also hadn't seen that ad and was wondering why people were so irate. As someone who studied propaganda techniques at an old conservative college, this ad is conveying a very distinct message that white is right. Yeah, man. And like her brother posted something about the military and something about it being in his genes, and I'm like, it is giving. Look, you can feel how you feel, and I definitely think there's a outsized level of like outrage and then an outsized level of defense of Sydney Sweeney that's not about that ad at all. That's very political. It's about other shit. But the people who are picking up on that dog whistle are white supremacists, and I can't ignore that. I'm sorry.
Nope.
If you're telling me something's subliminally charged and I go, I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, the jury stops being out when the people that would pick up on the dog whistle are like, yep, that dog is whistling and I'm picking it up and I'm defending this ad.
Yeah, I started looking around going, oh, y'all, well then this is wrong.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that immediately made me make a decision and get out of the neutral zone.
Yeah. I also had there's also another ad going around with a graffiti stating Sydney Sweeney has great genes, Genes, and when the word genes is crossed out and replaced with Jea, so it's pretty blatant. Joseph says, Karen, stop criticizing Rod's glasses. How dare you call him an old whack ass geezer in front of everybody? Where did the love go? From where did this
still here?
From where did this misandry come? What about his rights as a men's? Yeah, what about my men's rights?
What about your men's rights?
Did you forget that men's eat steak and women eat salad? I expect better from you, Karen. I got your back, Rod. Thank you. Okay? Because men do eat steak and women do eat salad. That's true. And Karen just hating on me.
I want to make my mama proud. You guys are not doing anything with your life. You may not see it, but I'm trying to accomplish something, and you guys are preventing me from that. All y'all haters, like, I'm trying to accomplish my dreams. If you don't like me, just block me. I didn't do anything to you.
Cornelia says some people don't like bums that make their dicks look small. I honestly think that's true. I think that is a big thing for a lot of people, because that's what the dude at the thing told me. Because I was like, yeah, she got, like, one of the women was Serena Williams in the cat suit. I'm like, Serena Williams on my face. And he was like, you like all that? And I was like, who don't like all that?
Doesn't matter. What are we talking about here?
Right. What are you talking? First of all, neither one of us is gonna get to fuck Serena Williams. So let's just go ahead, and I don't even know why the practicality of it matters. It's not really about that at this point. It's just she fine. That can we appreciate all that ass, or no? Is that a problem? Ugh. All right. What aside? Karen. Okay. Jason says, yo, the murder and mayhem taking place at Wendy's on a weekly basis is crazy. It's getting to be almost as dangerous as the docks.
Ain't it though?
It really is.
Wendy's in the docks.
Meet me at the Wendy's. No. Let's go to the docks.
The docks is safer.
I have no idea why everyone gets such a frosty reception there. Won't be fooled again. Two things can be true at once. I love Rod's glasses, and the next ones might look like that, but they do also give Teddy Pendergrass vibe to them. What?
That's hilarious.
Teddy P. First of all, Teddy P. was one of the ones. Okay.
It didn't matter what that man had on.
Throw that Teddy P on around your mama and see what happened, boy.
She ain't getting nothing about them glasses.
Okay. I'm glad. I take it as a compliment if I'm Teddy P glasses.
Ain't that the truth?
They are my latest and greatest inspirations. I think y'all are right about I think y'all are right that you won't see white people calling each other unk. It's the same way they don't call each other brother or sis. Well, okay, they do brother. I don't know if they do sis. They definitely do brother. They just change it to bro. Like there's
they
a
do
lot
of
that.
bros.
Yeah, and then
that's my bro.
And of course, rest in peace, but the brother with the hard R, Hulk Hogan. They do that.
Brother.
Listen, brother. Like I like it's really funny because it's like two types of white people that say brother. There's the Hulk Hogan like racist brother where you like, I feel like this man's saying brother because if he says what he actually thinks about me, I'll have to punch him in the face. But then there's like the John Bernthal brother that feels like he really mean that shit. It's like, listen, brother, you got to focus, you got to work out, you got to think about your family. I believe his brother way more than I believe Hulk Hogan's brother, but
his was the more all inclusive. Yeah.
They do some brothers, you know. And maybe it's because I'm from down south too, because they'll even do brother your first name. Like, Brother Rod, let me tell you something. Like, oh, you've been hanging around.
I think that is a down south
been
thing.
Hanging around black people or something. It's familiar for us. I'm rarely called Unc, but I remember the first time I was legitimately called Sir by someone who wasn't trying to get money from me. I held the elevator for what was probably a 16-year-old black boy. He rewarded me with "Thank you, sir." It started to ruin my day, but I had been waiting to call people young fellas since uncles would call me that as a child. Now was my time. Yeah, I think that's the next stage for me is I'm gonna start adapting some of those things for the young people. If I'm Unc age, then they're definitely young blood age now. I feel like I can see how it rolls off the tongue, see if I can make that one work. You know, young fella, young man. I haven't done young man feels like what you say when you're addressing someone down or giving advice. So I don't know if I'll go young man. Really, I'm not that formal, but you know, maybe I can get a young blood in there. You know, whippersnapper, maybe that. That's too old. I'm
about to say, you need to update
I need
the
to make it to
vocabulary.
like 70 before I can hit the whippersnapper on them.
Yeah, you have to be of a certain age to call say
You
that.
young whippersnappers running around here smelling like Similac. Alicia says, Uncle Rod, quit complaining. You know who the star of the show is. Someone should do a Candyman skit, but instead of saying Candyman, you say Stephen A. Smith, and he pops up talking nonsense. That's what he did to Michelle Obama. I feel you. Listen, wherever anyone is talking about him, he's gonna show up to promote. That's how he gets down. All right, let me go to the next musical break. For some reason, Psycho Music sent a video version instead of a MP3 version for this one. I don't know.
I know that was probably by error.
Yeah, why is all right, here we go.
Copy my steps, but you can't groove. Every word I said, you echo, you repeat. But my style's a fire, you can't compete. Your eyes on my crown, yeah, you dream to wear, but your throne's a chair in the middle of nowhere. Keep barking my name like a dog in the street, but you ain't got the bite, just the yap and beat. You're so jealous of me, yeah, I see it so clear. Obsessed with my life like I'm a souvenir. Can't keep my name out, can't let me be. I'm everything you want that you can never be. You mimic my moves, but you...
Oh man, that's dope. It's called Jealousy Vibes, and the artwork for it is Obama pointing at Trump's, and it says keep my name out your mouth. I forgot to do the poll. Do you get offended at being referred to as aunt or auntie? Yes, 6%, 59% no, and then 35% no one's referred to them as aunt or auntie yet. So
yeah, I can see that depending on your age and where you are. Yes,
that's why I put it in there just in case. Last episode of the week was 3137. Lil Boosie Collins. Wipe me down, baby.
Apparently so.
Shout out to Uncle Viv. He made that show art.
It's hilarious.
I put it on our Instagram and stuff. Legally Feisty says the laugh I let out at work when I realized Karen thought Boosie Collins was Lil Boosie. Karen is Barbara Howarding like she never Barbara Howarded before. Ronan Raphael says in Karen's defense, my mind was also on Lil Boosie too. Now I'm sure that seeing the episode title first before playing the clip didn't help when you got to that story. So worry not, Karen. As Michael Jackson once said, you are not alone. By the way, about the firing and rehiring by the genius in chief, one of my military sources in California has revealed how when Doge came to their top secret facility, they tried to get rid of people in the 20 to 40 plus years experience, most of whom had top secret clearances. Some said find them out, others thought this was over 3 months ago. They replaced the fired folks with 19 to 20-year-old kids, way cheaper, right? Only problem is that there's usually a handover. A person living shows you the ins and outs of the system you're taking over. For 19-year-old could be I guess a 19-year-old could be a genius. 40-year experience in the government, 40-year experience in the government system that knows their shit can set traps everywhere and waste that 19-year-old's time equals money wasted. They started reaching out to fire folks in time But like Karen pointed out, why return back when you have leverage? Insert Toby Maguire, show me the money. Toby Maguire, show me the money. Jerry Maguire, show me the money.
That's a good one.
Toby Maguire was Spider-Man.
That's a good one.
That's funny how you started out talking about Lil Boosie and
that's
you
a
pulled
good
your
one.
own tank. Toby Maguire, show me the money. That's good.
That's good.
I'm picturing him in that Venom suit dancing, talking about show me the money. Entering negotiations caused Doge dummies in trying to make a noise who alerted world intelligence agencies that everyone has been throwing money at fired Americans to switch teams. The cost going to be astronomical when we add 300K black women damage research, stop programs, and a lot more, including fired and rehired federal workers.
Yeah. And to kind of Roger's point, you are going to have some people who's going to have to come back no matter what. But it's going to be a small percentage of people going, no, if I come back, it's going to be a consultation free. If you're not willing to pay that, don't waste my fucking time.
Yeah, I also just wonder what happens with people. Like, there's got to be people who've been waiting for folks with that much inside information on the government to be available elsewhere, whether in private functions, whether other countries, other governments. It's just like, it's got to be a big security risk too.
Yeah. And it's also one of them things, because Trump don't give a fuck about American security, y'all. I don't think people don't understand a lot of the shit he's doing is putting America at risk, just in general and mass, just period. You know, shit that people have been trying to get for years, he just basically let it out loose, let it in the wild. It's for sale. Like, he actually does not care about the fundamental things, you know, to this country. And so, like Roger said, I feel like just like in other countries, when this shit started happening, people leave these countries and they go to other places. You know, a lot of people left Germany, and where did they come? They came to America. A lot of these people, a percentage, not a lot, percentage of these people are going to start leaving, and they're going to go to other countries, and they're going to take a lot of their resources, knowledge, and wisdoms and start implementing these things in other countries. It's bound to happen.
Oh, by the way, it's thanks to y'all that I got on Patreon to support others. I didn't pay attention back in the beginning when I first joined the Blackout Tips Nation. Then after you had 3 guys on as guests, I decided to once and for all support it all in one moment. Spent hours searching for the Blackout Tips on Patreon and was wondering why I couldn't find it after finding all the podcasts that you guys introduced me to. Later, as it's written in the wise books, I shined my eyes and was like, oops, and went premium the right way. It worked out, so thanks to introducing me to Patreon years ago. Sean says, I had 2 comments in my head for this show after getting home from my midnight walk, but then I saw that the Japanese Superman Dean Cain, whose grandparents were in concentration camps in the U.S. during World War II, those internment camps, is joining the brown shirts, aka ICE. I guess only in America can people survive a concentration camp only to see their grandson put other innocent people into a concentration camp or worse. It's the American dream. He also did leave 2 more comments. Comment on the show 1. Doge claims to have $180 billion. They have actual receipts for about a quarter of that, but based on my back of the envelope calculation, those savings will likely cost America up to $1.8 quadrillion in damages, deaths, economic decline, and weakening of our international diplomatic position. I may be slightly off, but I can guarantee my numbers are more accurate than Doge's. Comment on the show 2. This is the 3rd comment. You can't trick me by not counting that first one. How long until the verb to doge has a broadening of meaning from unlawful firing to simply fucking up? He really doged that layup there. If you had any questions, don't ask Johnson. He's a real doge. I think his uncle is on the board or something. That's funny. Sophie King says, regarding the poll question, not only no, but hell no, I don't like when random people talk to me, period. The poll question was, do you like when random people talk to you about the clothing you're wearing, i.e. sports, teens, movies, anime? We'll get to those results later. Miss Barnes says, I consider my graphic t-shirts as great conversation starters. Everyone knows I love Attack on Titan way too much, so conversation is sparked when other nerds see my anime, sci-fi, transformer, pop culture fit. I love wearing my The Blackout Tips Bob's Burger shirt, and folks do ask, what's up with the Black Bob's Burgers characters? I simply mention it's a podcast I love listening to, and they should too. Thank you. That's why we do it. EVE says, there's a little more to that Nicki Minaj challenge because I knew it would be a matter of time before someone got hurt. Not only are the people balancing their entire weight on the ball of 1 foot, they are balancing on ridiculously tiny areas, like on top of tiny boxes. Someone did it on top of a soda can. Someone did it on a street sign. I saw a ballerina do it on point. So that Russian influencer was a new mother, and not only was she trying to balance the top of her kitchen counter, she was trying to balance on top of a baby formula can. Oh, of course she was bound to bust her ass. That's just crazy because Nikki did her challenge on solid ground. You can tell me that Aubrey Graham didn't cancel his tour because he wasn't selling out venues. I don't think his ego would have taken the extra humiliation. I mean, you can't tell me. Okay. I'm sure he's now in his feelings because Kendrick's Super Bowl performance has now been nominated for an Emmy. This may be the biggest L in music history. Abby says, I can do the challenge on solid ground thanks to yoga, but wouldn't try it somewhere dangerous because I enjoy staying alive. Well, that didn't sound like a rule breaker to me. If you're not going to do it on a stack of milk crates, Appia, then you ain't really a rule breaker. Appia says, Karen, I'm also over 40 and an aspiring rapper. You have heard about my future killer tracks, but I'm not putting all my eggs into the rap basket and keeping my day job.
Please do.
Well, I guess you don't believe in yourself. All right, let's check what they said on. Oh my God, 19 comments on YouTube. What the fuck, boy, y'all are on it, man. I won't do the emoji ones. Ray Gunn says that brawl was epic. Yeah, and what's funny is that's the episode of the Blackout Tips that they took off of YouTube, saying we were encouraging violence, which is crazy,
which is ridiculous. And the biggest thing about that, they had the whole fucking brawl on there with no problem.
Yes,
and shit
you could
like
look
that.
at the brawl on YouTube,
but you couldn't talk about it.
But you couldn't look at me talking about it, laughing, not going, yeah, y'all know this show. This is not the show for, man, we really love violence. Go beat them people up. That is not what we do here.
Right.
YouTube. Provocative AF says, what up, fam? Hey, yo, Karen, you cracked me up. The 129 mark classic. That was fucking Jordan Game 6. This show's super funny and real. Rob, my guy, you're the most interesting nigga in the world. Hella hilarious. Love y'all. Great show. Damn, on Gress the Race, Deborah Mason in America would be black woman, LOL, moving a ton of yayo and calling herself Queen Bee. Yeah, damn. Now that's a connect. Yeah, I guess it's different over there in the Shire.
It different.
They got all kind of grandmams moving that motherfucking
don't do
that weight. Dark Namda says, we call that corporate knowledge. Good episode. Thanks. Tashill just says Wonder Bread White. So I don't even know which guess that was for. J Fool says Karen's little Boosie tank has to be on the Mount Rushmore of tanks. That was Kobe dropping 81 on Jalen Rose level of greatness. I laughed till my side and my cheeks hurt. I'm envious of Rod though because he didn't see that tank coming.
I don't think nobody seen it coming.
Yeah,
neither did I.
The show title gave me a hint, right? Well, maybe Rod did see it coming, but you know what I mean. No, I didn't. I didn't know what she was talking about. I was genuinely confused, but I think that's what makes it good.
Right. Like he be telling me, I don't know what be going on in that brain.
I really needed that laugh. Thank you, Karen. I am Talisha says, I stopped hearing anything y'all talked about after seeing that nasty cop and that young dude doing their own version of Nicki Minaj challenge on that bike.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God. You just think about having your legs spread ass up with the cops just nestle warmly all up against you. Just think about when they go over bumps or take off from the red light. Right. You know that cop is being jostled and pushed all up against that perp. I hope he sues. How humiliating. I literally have my face scrunched up in disgust as I write this. Why do you do that to your audience, Rod? I'm about to get me a shot of tequila or 3. Finish watching this episode. By the way, love y'all. Damn, I can't unsee that. Yeah, and the thing for me, I mean, you know, obviously it was funny, but to me, that's why I shared it. But
right.
The thing that's so interesting to me is like my first reaction was like to check myself was like, wait, am I being homophobic because it's 2 dudes? And I thought about it, I was like, no, it really wouldn't matter who was on the front or the back of that bike.
Would not matter. That's
an insane thing for that cop to do.
Just wait.
Is it an emergency? I need to go to jail. I think we can wait. I'm gonna still be in cuffs when they get here.
We can wait for them to come 3 blocks over to put me in the back of a car.
You can't ride me down my own street like that.
Right.
I can't never live here no more. None of your biz says, talking about Doge layoffs, I'm a retired Ohio County IT support government worker. The cost of mismanagement is always overlooked. The majority of elected officials and their chief deputies have no office management experience when they assume office. It is common to see people with 10 plus years experience get chased out of the office when a new person is elected. It took them 3 months to hire my replacement, and I've seen some key positions not replaced until the next fiscal year. Watching the ineptitude unfold is really spectacular, and the general public has no idea what goes on, nor do they see the financial or administrative missteps resulting from the new people having to learn on their own. There is very little to zero cross-training of job positions. The incompetence is amazing, but they have the authority because they were elected or appointed by an elected officer. You can't make this issue up, and I could entertain you for days about my 23 years of serving government literally pissing money away. Seriously. By the way, Politics Until You Get Mad has replaced Guess the Race as my favorite segment. Y'all get 5 stars every episode from me. Wow.
Oh, thank you, baby.
Thank you. I really, honestly, it really does mean a lot that y'all like that segment, because that's a tough one to do, and it's not what I want to do all the time, but
right.
I feel like we have responsibility to do it, and it matters to me that it is coming through to y'all in a way that you still can be entertained and informed and feel some level of like kinship to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's also one of those things where these things have to be talked about, because we would not be truthful to ourselves if we ran away from these things.
Right.
You know, because so many people have literally talked, everything was about politics. Now they don't talk about politics at all. Like they just literally just left the realm for whatever reasons. Not trying to be funny, and I get that, but because of what we do and how strongly we feel about this country, about democracy, about voting and things like that, it would be an injustice to our audience not to continue to talk about these things.
Yeah, I also just feel like I want people to not feel alone with how they feel about stuff, because I know for me, a lot of times I if I consume or watch anything political, I feel that anger rising at what the predicament we put ourselves in, and a lot of times that's not okay on the platforms where people are talking these things. It's still very much like sports to them, where not even sports, it's just very much like a theory to them.
It's entertainment.
A lot of what is valued in that space is this idea of not being too emotional, and it doesn't matter if they're experts or they're just some asshole giving an opinion. It's just, we're talking about it like this, you know what I mean? Or, oh, isn't this a pithy point? Or this is sarcastic, as opposed to being like, no, this shit's kind of infuriating.
Yes, yeah, and it's also having you guys write in is confirmation that we're going to continue to do it. But it's also one of those things where, like Roger say, things happen and you see things. And I love the platform of the podcast, like, because it's long form. I love the fact that you can get a whole thought out without being interrupted. I'm just keeping that real. You can flesh your anger out and your frustration out and explain why, without like I said, the consistent rebuttal and interruption and things like that. Because a lot of times that shit makes you think you're crazy when you talk to people and you're like, hey, I know what I'm saying is valid, I know what I'm saying is true, and people come at you like you're the lunatic because they don't want to talk about it, they don't want to discuss it, or they want to run away from the truth. I don't want our audience to be ignorant. You have to know what's happening. Yes, you take it in bits and pieces however you want to, but you can't just be oblivious to the things that are happening around you.
Yo, the newspaper couldn't spell out the honky and honky Kong. I didn't know that word got the hard R treatment. They want one so bad, don't they? So crazy. It's so funny when they try to censor stuff like that. You're like, come on, y'all know it's not the same.
It's not the
Provocative
same.
AF says, hey, yo, man, I was watching Don Lemon earlier. He was talking about politics and he got mad as fuck. I thought about the two of you doing politics till we get mad. After he said MAGA was stupid as fuck, he said, I'm done. I said, politics till Don Lemon gets mad.
Yep.
Look at him, still in the show.
Till you get mad.
Give us our credit. Kim Doc says, shout out to Jeff Duncan. He has been on the side of upholding this thing for a long time. It takes courage to do what he's doing. The cop on the motorcycle with the suspect, man, that looks like 2 to 3 deaths just waiting to happen. Balancing on the bike could be disrupted by any random thing, unreal and foolish in practice. Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, why did the cop upload that? That's crazy. Because they were the ones that uploaded it. Like, sometimes when you don't get the van or the police squad car, you got to do it yourself. I was like, and then you showed the world.
Right.
Kim Doc says a lot of the Nicki Minaj challengers show the behind the scenes, and someone is literally helping them onto the elevator surface, holding their hand until they set, and then filming quickly as they circle around them. Then they catch them before they fall. These women are wobbling and unsteady the entire time, but the videos appear to show them still and unbothered. Wouldn't recommend it. Lil Bootsy, Karen is my fave. I'm crying right now. Yes.
I was like, I didn't know why that man's 70 years old. And that's why I was so confused.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm just picturing Bootsy Collins saying all the little Bootsy stuff. You know?
Oh no.
Ooh, people shouldn't be gay, baby. Oh, I don't know if he said that's probably not what Lil Bootsy says like exactly, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna help my son get some pussy. He's only 10.
Oh no.
I'll keep it funky.
No, not funky like that. No funky.
Groove is in your heart.
What the hell wrong with you?
Shoulders, pants, chest, shoes. Jason says, I'm not an anime guy, but I have a grip of 80s and 90s shirts that I wear that definitely spark random convos. My Homie the Clown shirt has caused many a middle-aged white man to approach me. Part of me wishes that would end the tiny desk rather than move it. People need to feel the full consequences of losing public broadcasting. People stepping in and softening the blows. What made people think Trump 1.0 didn't suck as much as it did. The biggest victim in all of this Sydney Sweeney controversy has got to be Brittany Mahomes. Replaced. Yeah, that's true. She the new MAGA mama. The only thing lazier than Charlamagne's political opinions are the people who keep booking him to talk about politics. I still don't get how he's the one, despite this current Trump beef. In the end, he will always straddle the fence. Yeah, it's just coming, like, I don't even celebrate these moments because they're empty to me. I saw Jimmy Kimmel had Greg Gutfeld on his late night show and did a softball interview with him. Greg Gutfeld is a host of a late night conservative talk show on like Fox News or Fox.
Because I was about to ask you, who?
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. And I remember people were like all over themselves when the other white guys, the other Jimmys, showed up to support Stephen Colbert by going on his podcast, and it's like, look at this, the white guys, Jon Stewart, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, and they're supporting Steve to show like this Trump administration shit is some bullshit. And then here comes Jimmy Kimmel with fucking Gutfeld on the show, and you're like, why did they ever praise this? Were you there because you were like, we're standing up against fascism, we're standing for freedom of speech, we're standing up against a government and a company that would appease that government that is unfairly persecuting a man? No, you did it because you feel we are all entitled to having a late night show, no matter how much fucking money it's losing. We are America, and in this case, you can't just cancel a white guy show even if it's losing $20-40 million a year. And that's essentially not the right thing to support. So you're not going to actually go on your platform and be like, man, fuck Trump, fuck these conservatives, fuck, you're not going to get Greg Gutfeld on your show and say, hey man, you're a free speech warrior. What do you think about Stephen Colbert losing his show? You know, where's Joe Rogan on this? Where's Theo Vaughn on this shit? Yeah, fuck y'all. Anyway, finally, he says they give him the reputation of being unafraid to tell the truth, but there is no greater coward in the media landscape. I guess talking about Charlamagne. Finally, Karen, following up the Jeff Bridges, Ty Bridges incident with the Lil Bootsy Collins incident in this podcast magic. I know y'all don't rock with Drake, but she went back to back. Back to back is a good song. I like
that song.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, that's everybody for YouTube. The poll: do you like when random people talk to you about the clothing you're wearing, i.e. sports teams, movies, and anime? 59% do. 41% don't. Which is still kind of high, but I think I count myself in the 59%, man. I like if I'm wearing something that is personal to me in a way of like I am a fan of this, and you decide like, oh man, I like that too, or oh, did you see this? That's to me, that's a great conversation starter compared to, you know, just not to, like I said, not knocking this, but compared to just lovely weather we're having, or what about that traffic?
Something's more specific.
Yeah, I prefer like, oh man, have you watched the Entertainment District arc of Sword Slayer? I mean, of Demon Slayer? Yes. Let's talk about that. All right, that's it for that segment. Let's get to these voicemails. Play another one of these new beats from Psycho Music.
He paints his world with counterfeit gold. Every promise breaks every soul he's sold. The mirror cracks, but he won't see. A man of masks, not reality. Crowds will cheer, but they don't know what's buried deep beneath the show. King of corruption, lies on repeat. Compulsive liar, royalty. He's ruling the shadows.
All right, I think that's about Trump too. King of corruption. All right, we got 3 voicemails and they're all from Dre.
Okay.
So let's see what he had to say.
Yay!
What's up, Rod and Karen? It's Dre. I got 2 voicemails. You know what I'm saying? It's been a while. I got 2. I'm going to try and be quick.
Okay, baby.
The first thing, in the feedback episode where y'all were talking about how people love these conspiracies so much and how they so quick to buy into these fucking conspiracies, I really do have a theory on that shit. And what made me come to it is just seeing how much people enjoy conspiracy theory. Like, you'll even, like, I've even heard people in real life, like, talking to each other, like, oh, you like conspiracy theories? I love conspiracy theories, too. And it made me realize that the conspiracy theory thing is a fucking game at this point. Like, it's not actually a serious thing, but it has serious implications.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really just people, like, I don't really know any other way to put it. Like, it is people just making shit up. It's people seeing something, and instead of, like, doing the research to figure out how it is that happened or why it is that happened, instead of doing that, they jump into the conspiracy game. And they like to play it with other people, and they like to play it in front of people. So, like, the whole point is for me to come up with this whole alternate reality where this thing occurred, and you are just not smart enough to see that, or you just believe too much in the status quo to understand what it is that we see. It's an extension of the shit that we always say, which is just that, like, make shit up, make a dumb motherfucker feel smart. And conspiracy is where the playing field is equal for everyone. If we're all just talking about let's make some shit up together, then, like, your made up shit is just as valuable as my made up shit, and you can't qualify your shit with fact, and I can't qualify. It's just a game that motherfuckers play, a dangerous ass game that has just let us all fucked up. And that's really it. I don't think the conspiracy is people trying to make sense of shit. I don't think that's people searching for truth. I literally think it's just motherfuckers playing around with information because they think the shit is cute. It's just...
Yeah, I agree.
I 100% agree too.
Yeah, I told you I was at the optometrist, and one of the people, the assistant, said, "Oh, I listen to podcasts." "Oh, okay. What kind of podcast you listen to?" And she goes, "Conspiracies." And I was like, "Okay, like, name which one? What podcast?" She couldn't even name one. I was like, "Okay." Like, I have nothing to add to this conversation, and I truly do think it's dangerous. And I think part of what makes the conspiracy thing dangerous is everyone thinks you can play around with it just a little bit. Everyone thinks you can do just a little bit, and I get it. We all think, you know, yeah, it's harmless, just a little bit. But I just think when you look at the bigger picture of what is affecting so many people who seem to have just completely lost their way and lost track,
and lost touch with reality,
you realize, like, oh no, there is no just a little bit for this shit. It's kind of like the slippery slope, and next thing you know, you're like, birds aren't real or some shit, or what I think is even more important, you allow the other people who believe very dangerous conspiracies to not feel like they're out to lunch, you know. So when they believe Pizzagate, they're not out to lunch because you're saying, well, I also believe in some bullshit too, and we're just having fun, you know. So it is dangerous to me. He left 2 more voicemails.
All right, Gray again. Message number 2. So, a while back, Rod, you said something that I don't think was supposed to be the funniest thing I ever heard in my life, but for whatever reason, it just stuck with me. And you was talking about Church's Chicken, and you were saying that they slogan should really be, that chicken big and good. When I tell you that shit lives rent-free in my mind in spaces that it should not,
That's hilarious.
I have the proof. So the other day, I'm sitting, minding my own business, home, all my family is gone. I say, you know what, fuck it. I'm about to watch me a little adult entertainment. You know what I'm saying? So I'm getting my scroll on, you know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking to myself, you know what I'm saying, with my VPN active, because I'm in Texas, you know what I'm saying? We can't even watch no kitties in Texas. But anyway, so I'm scrolling, and I see a name of an adult film actress that I've seen before, but I've never seen any of her videos. So I say, fuck it, let's check this girl out. So I click on it, watching the video. Beginning of the video, she got on clothes, as that happens in the beginning of the video sometimes. And she takes off the first layer of clothes, the shirt she still got on the bottom. I'm like, oh damn, those are big titties, because the titties didn't look big in the shirt. You know what I'm saying? They didn't look big in the shirt. So I'm still watching. And then she takes the bra off and the titties come out. And I'm like, God damn, those titties are real. Those titties are big and real. And then what my mind does next is, those titties big and real.
That's hilarious.
Love y'all.
Yeah, nah, I really did think I discovered something with that. And this the thing where like, in my mind it's so funny, but then you know when we do the show and I'm presenting these ideas to Karen and the audience, I don't know if they'll find it as funny as I do. I always hope somebody out there finds it as funny as I do.
Same with me.
And yeah, of course, yeah. I'm just speaking for myself, but because you just never know. It's a live show and we're not practicing or running this by each other. We're not doing bits. And sometimes even when I'm trying to do a bit, you know, Karen will interject and take it in the angle she wants to take it. Sometimes she shuts jokes down to be like, oh no, don't, you know, like I wanted to do a whole thing about people dancing in chicken commercials, and then she just shut it down so I couldn't get to any of the jokes.
My bad.
No, this is just, I've done it to you. It just happens. My point is, I think the control freak producer part of the mind is like, oh, you got to go back. You got to do those jokes. You got to start over. You got to, oh, that segment was ruined. It's not going to work. And I think over the years, I've just learned like, no, somebody got it. Despite how I might feel like, it didn't really go over well, or we didn't get in a riff or a jag about it in the way that I would have liked to get into it in my brain when I was writing this down. You never know what lives on in people. And I think all the time that chicken big and good is such a, like, if churches stole that, I wouldn't even be mad, because like that is what they offer.
Yep.
It don't cost that much, and them chickens is fucking mutated.
Humongous.
And they
Dinosaurs.
big and good. Yeah, that should be, if they stole that, that could be, they love that chicken at Popeyes. They could be that chicken big and good. And I'll be like, yep. All right, last one from Dre again.
Bye, Aaron. 3 voicemails in 1 week. It's crazy work. I understand. We'll never make this a habit. When y'all were talking about the government employees getting fired and then rehired, y'all were talking about how much money it costs and all that. But the one thing that I remember when y'all said that is that this shit was a part of Project 2025.
Yes!
Firing off all these people and then replacing the people in those like supervisory roles with other conservative leaning people, and then tasking them with attempting to filter out those more progressive people so that all the people who are within, but like, because that's what was stopping the Trump administration the first time around.
Yes, sir.
Even though he might put a dickhead in charge, is a dickhead in charge of people who like have been abiding by the rule of law for the entirety, like they're public servants. They're not gonna, they'll do whatever the fuck it is if it's within the bounds of the rules and the laws. So like most of them, like you always say, are rule followers, because most of us are rule followers.
Yes.
I think that what we seeing in that is a purge of those rule followers to replace them with people who believe in an ideology, not the rule of law.
Right.
So that whenever they want to do fuck shit, there's less people who, the people who were really the saviors, when we thought it was going to be one or two Republican senators or some shit to actually do the right thing, the people who really ended up saving us from that on that first time around were the regular ass people who just worked their government job and was like, no, we can't do that, weren't willing to go through with some of the shit that they would be willing to do. And I think they're trying to get rid of those motherfuckers and bring in some assholes like them. And that was the plan all along.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, the rules.
When I call back for weeks, I've said plenty to black guys who tips. Love you guys as always.
Yeah, it's all good, right? The rules that they follow are based on loyalty, not the law. And so they are rule followers as well, but just they have a different code, as you said. But yeah, most of the people that are rule followers are not prepared for the revolution. They not finna do shit. They not taking back the government offices. They're not going to be shooting at the agents the way that the MAGA people were a couple years ago. Like, it's a very sick world we're living in. And yeah, a lot of people are the last and only hope for them fighting is going to be in the voting booth, because they're not built for nothing else. And I personally am almost at this point offended when people try to pretend that we're going to have a liberal revolution. It's such a deviation from every fucking thing we know about history in America that it's like, I feel like it basically helps people that are authoritarians. It helps Trump to be like, no, we'll just wait for the liberal revolution to kick off. We're going to be like France. No, we're not. So now what are we going to do? Now that we know that that's not happening, what are we going to do? Because we're not going to save ourselves because you're going to go get guns and do shit. You're not going to do that.
Right.
So can we come up with some actual shit that you might want to do? Because I know some easy ones that you may lose the right to do if you keep fucking around. You know, might already be too late.
Ain't that the truth?
So let's not kid ourselves.
Right. For me, when people say that, I ain't trying to be funny. I almost have to calm myself down when people say that statement.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna say, motherfucker, you lying? Do you got a gun? Do you own a gun? Are you willing to go out in the street? Are you willing to shoot somebody? Are you willing to kill somebody? If not, what the fuck are you talking about? You're lying. The simple thing to do, the easiest thing to do, the thing that takes the least amount of effort was getting your black ass in the voting poll and motherfucking vote, and you can do that shit for goddamn free, and you refuse to. So what makes me think you're gonna you're gonna pay for something when you wouldn't really do the free shit?
All right, let's go to the emails. We'll play a song between those.
Some sweet. Some sweet. Some sweet. Some sweet.
That one's called Lover Girl by Esabalu. That's so good. All right. Finally, emails, last segment. Our girl Sid writes in, Nigganon, feedback show side quest.
Hilarious.
The concept that you're still talking through about black people or leftists also have this conspiratorial alternative reality where every little thing is out to get them is definitely real. As someone who is diagnosed, heavy on the diagnosed by a professional neurodivergent person, I recognize a lot of patterns within media and pop culture that remind me of World War II, Civil War propaganda, or even just white supremacist playbook. I think the difference is not that it is not catastrophic every time I see it, and I recognize that it's not always intentional on the part of the advertising agency. Or to be real, Levi's should have thought about that shit first. Beyonce was already saying it on Cowboy Carter. I think the significance is that A, Nigganon thinks everyone else is too stupid and uneducated and not exceptionally black enough to recognize it, and that it's their duty to shout it from the rooftops, and B, that it requires constant dissection and conversation. Listen, everything you're writing right now is bars. Those are the bars to the bars, that last part, because that constant dissection and conversation is also means that your constant feeling of creating content is your revolution. Like you're fighting through getting TikToks. Now, if the TikToks also happen to give you a big dopamine rush, if you're getting paid off this content, if you're, if now you feel like everyone's like treating you like a hero and an activist that you were always meant to be, hard to separate that between the two, yourself from that. Just get your ego out of it. Just because the camera's always pointed at us on social media, so it's almost like the pattern is predetermined to eventually be, my head is now the size of fucking Mars, because I'm the most important person on the earth. How else is anyone going to save black people if it's not from me and the conspiracies that I'm seeing? And I think that's what I was reacting to with the Sydney Sweeney thing, was not that it was impossible for it to be offensive. I'm less inclined to believe that it was purposefully like offensive, even like where they just went, fuck our gene campaign, fuck American Eagle, we want to be known as the brand that got canceled over this bullshit. Because the reason I say I don't believe it is because the racist people don't support shit. So while you might say we're racist and we would like racist people to also know we're racist, them racist people ain't running out to buy American Eagle just because Sydney Sweeney was in that ad.
They are not.
Because they just don't support shit. They destroy shit. The way they support shit is buying it and destroying it. They support more liberal shit by buying the beers to be transphobic than to be like, I'm buying the beer because straight white Americans drink this beer. It's so fucking... Anyway, sorry. All that to say, like, yes, I think once you're in for a penny on making this, I'm seeing the real world, this is how it really is, no one's gonna tell you the truth. Once you're doing that type of content, you have to keep going.
Yes.
And everything has to be 10. So there is no... Yeah, I saw the American Eagle ad and it was weird. Like, there's nothing, you can't be like that, because now you out of the fucking the black nigganon people group. You got to be like, I saw it and it is out to destroy black children or whatever. Like, so I do think that is definitely a big part of it. And yeah, and then when you don't agree, or you just go, I don't know if I feel like this one is as important or this one is as intentional, you lose some standing. Like, oh, so you're too stupid to see it. Oh, you're not black, you're not pro-black enough to see it. And you're right, it's that community, that social standing is still important to people, whether it's digital or human or in person. People want to feel held in high esteem. And so why would you come out and be like, guys, not this one? No, you got to come out and be like, yes, this one too, it's all fucked up. I watched a lot of my peers fall into this trap, believing the whole world should be viewed through an academic lens all the goddamn time, and I just think I don't think it's a sustainable way to live.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that, man, we're cooked, bro. Once academics got a hold of what it's like to be seen as socially important on social media, it did change, like, even Twitter and Facebook. Because, like, when you started out, it was like Facebook was for your college friends, MySpace for your people you know in real life. But MySpace wasn't like, let's go write a long blog, let me show you, that kind of thing. I really think it was like around Twitter where, like, writing was super important, and also the academia people really was like, this is my time to shine. I'd say Tumblr maybe a little bit before that was even more important. Tumblr is the most slept on app of all of them, because Tumblr was the place where it was for pictures, but they weren't necessarily for pictures of yourself. So it's like, I'm gonna write a blog post here, another person gonna write breakdown of Rick and Morty episodes, another's gonna do this. And that's where I think the competition to really be the most, like, how can I apply academic ideas outside of an academic setting to pop culture? And we have never recovered from that.
No, we haven't. And there's nothing wrong with them blending. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But there is a time that they are separate a reason.
Yeah.
Because there are times, particularly in academia, when you're based in facts, which means it's not about who's popular, it's not about who's flowery, it's about these are the things based off my research, based off my studies, this has been peer-to-peer review, whatever the whatever you need to do to get the shit published, like once you get to a certain level. That's completely different than the general public to just be spewing bullshit based on how they feel.
Yeah, and those apparatuses are not even on social media.
Right.
So it maybe not the first time, but eventually it's like, peer review for what? I feel this way and I am writing this thing, and does it need 100% proof? Not really. And I feel like that was probably the first time I saw stuff like that was on Tumblr for me, anecdotally. But now I'd say the majority of a lot of our pop culture content feels like some form of academia talking styles and points applied to things without the rigor or the, like you said, all the apparatuses around academia. So now you got people just writing shit on Huffington Post with no editor, and people can tag that article and be like, see, somebody else said it, so it must be true. Anyway,
and also when it comes to academia, in other genres, all that stuff lost its professionalism once you started moving it over. Because that there were certain, like I said, laws and bylaws and all this shit that you have to do in these areas of expertise that you don't have to do in the masses. And a lot of times what they're taking these facts and numbers, statistics, whatever these things is, and they're feeding it to the general public because these things have gone through whatever rigorous thing that they need to go through. So yeah, the public can argue and decipher and all that shit, but what they can't do is go against your work, because your work will stand the test of time.
Yeah, I still remember a big inflection point was when Bell Hooks did a panel, and she talked about how she wasn't banging with Beyonce's version of feminism, and she didn't find it to be revolutionary at all. And it's not to me about right and wrong necessarily. It's about, that's Bell Hooks. I'm pretty sure Bell Hooks is entitled to her opinion. You can't cite her as this amazing feminist, womanist, and revolutionary thought maker and also be like, but fuck that, you don't be talking about the Beehive, I'll fuck you up, and people were very dismissive of her because people love Beyonce. Which I get, but they weren't treating her as an academic, giving her academic opinion that was in line with pretty much all her other academic opinions. She became a hating ass bitch that didn't like Beyonce because Beyonce pretty or whatever, So my point being, social media wasn't really the place for this. And that pressure, she didn't fold under that pressure because she's Bell Hooks. She's like, okay, y'all don't like me, I think I'll be okay. My whole life been like that.
Right.
But imagine so many other people who have a different set of motivations, who are like, no, on my scale, being liked by people is way up here. So my academic points and shit gonna lead to like, how do I get the most people to like me, as opposed to how do I feed my ego less than how do I tell the real truth. And I think that's a part of it. And then also when you're so in that feedback loop, even when people do decide to give a controversial opinion, a lot of times it's still like trying to field some following out of it. It's not just like, hey man, look, I had to say what I had to say, whether it's popular or not, this is how I feel. It's like no, I'm engaging with this. Let's argue about it. Let's go back and forth, get on the panel. Let's make this is content.
Yeah, right. And in academia, something's published and it's out, and then you go on to your next project, something published and it's
possibly
out. Depending on what the situation is, but like you say, you don't have all the things that you have to deal with when you deal with like social media. Not that you don't have pressures and things like that, but it's just used different.
I just think it used to be a little bit more separate.
Yes.
And now academics are as affected by the same pressures we all are affected by on social media as anyone else. There's no reason to believe they would be exempt.
Right.
But anyway, I'm starting to believe that people wear their psychosis as a badge of honor. I even felt myself in that rut, or feeling like I'm the only one and feel water was boiling, feeling like fascism was on our heel, and seeing all the microcosms that sort out our feed and sort of feed into this larger picture. So I reached out to my therapist and I got my meds adjusted. Yeah, no one thinks about that. People really be raw dogging life, but you got to get off that damn train. Who the fuck is trying to live like that? Agreed. Yeah, and like that's another thing, like the therapy thing we talked about a bunch on the show, but like the way social media sees therapy as like one of your little girlfriends is so fucking dangerous to me.
Yes.
I don't talk about it. I don't discuss therapy shit with people on social media. I really think that fucked a lot of people up, because like, first of all, coming out of therapy to report your therapist findings to us is weird, because that's really an intimate space about you, your brain, your life, and your therapist. And I also I still remember that first time I seen like a therapist talking about their patients on social media, and I was like, that feels like a very nebulous gray area that there's no way the people that came up with the academic standards of therapy and the professional therapy standards, there's no way they anticipated this shit where y'all were gonna be on TikTok talking about people business. There's just no way. Now maybe they've had to have come up with something in the last few years to address some type of standards, but at the time that the people were first popping out, I was like, I don't know, if I see my therapist's face and they're saying some shit that maybe somebody can identify me through, it's not that hard. When motherfuckers can take a picture of somebody and tell you shit like where they work, where they live, it isn't that hard to think a therapist could slip up and put someone's personal information out there. But yeah, anyway, my point being, I think when people started being like, I'm gonna tell you about my therapist as if they're my friend, and if my therapist tells me anything that I don't like, I'm gonna tell y'all that too, and then y'all are gonna hop on my side because you know me through social media. You don't know my therapist, so you don't know what the fuck I said before or after. You just know my version of events. And the thing about psychosis, the thing about mental health stuff, it's feeding you lies sometimes. Like, my anxiety is a liar. It is not what is going to happen. It's not. My anxiety is this shit is gonna go wrong all the time. Don't do that, Rod. Just stay in the house. You know, that's my anxiety. I don't want a therapist who is like, the anxiety is right. Just, you ain't doing nothing wrong. You know what? Everybody else is crazy. That's like that Twitter speak. And I see that all the time where somebody is like, my therapist said I need to talk to my mom, and I said, well, I need a new therapist, so I'm not talking to you anymore. And I'm like, I see all the people replying like, hell yeah, no contact, cut your parents off. And I'm like, is the therapist a crazy person, or did the therapist you had a whole bunch of treatments and talks and work and all this shit, and y'all arrived at something and they challenged you to do something that maybe it's uncomfortable, that's a roadblock for you? Am I on here supporting your roadblock? Is that what I'm doing, or am I actually like affirming you? I actually don't know, because I don't be in them sessions. That's y'all business.
Right. And I think over the years, particularly with social media, and like you said, the professionalism and the academia and all these lines being blurred, a lot of the professionalism is gone.
Yeah.
A lot of the client patient confidentiality is gone, you know, and shit like that. And people act like it ain't no big thing. Bitch, it is, because I went to them for confidentiality.
And like, therapy is also, social media is also showing us that like the therapists aren't always, you know, well grounded. Like, sometimes you hear people that are therapists and you're like, oh, you shouldn't be telling me all this. So yeah, like I said, it's an interesting thing because it's such a feedback loop, and maybe people are starting to question it now. I hope so. But yeah, I know so many people that think a therapist's job is to tell them that their coping mechanisms and their things that their mental health is making them do, they think the therapist's job is to validate that and be like, you are right to not want to leave your house. You are right to do whatever. It's like if I went and got a physical trainer and was like, some of my goals is to gain muscle, lose weight, become more active. I want to get these health measurements in a certain range, and when I go to the doctor, I want them to test me and be like this and this is all good. And then for her to be like, well, you know what, ain't nothing wrong with how you are, and if you want to stay this way, that I'm like, I wouldn't have even fucking came to you if what I was doing was working for me. Why would we be talking? Obviously, I'm not telling you to force me in anything I don't want to do, but I'm telling you I have goals. Can you help me accomplish those goals? Therapy is kind of like that to me, where it's like, I have goals. My goal is not to be a fucking person that's having panic attacks from looking at Twitter. That's not my goal. My goal is to never do that again. My goal is to find ways to cope with a world that's hostile sometimes. I don't want to be a person that doesn't leave my house because I can't deal with hostility. I want to be a person that's able to say, the world's hostile, but I'm going to live my fucking life to the fullest. That's it. Mm-hmm. That shit takes work. That's who you are for me.
It takes work.
You're not the homie. I don't need you to necessarily make me feel good. I don't need you to make me feel bad, but the job is the job, and you're here to be a support system for me. And we just kind of lost that with the way we talk about so many things. So I feel you on that.
Yeah, but two more things before we won't move on. No, you said the biggest thing. You're not the homie. I don't know what about that people don't understand. A therapist's whole job is you can come to them and talk about shit, and by law they are bound, certain things they have to report, don't get me wrong, but by law they are bound to sit and listen to you. You are paying them to do their job, right. Which means you can be as open as you want to be. You can actually get to the root, whatever it takes. And their job is not to coddle you. Their job is not to make you feel great. Their job is to help you adjust to the world, because the world is going to be whatever the world is. You're in it, and you have to adjust to the world. Yeah. And so that's their job, to give you whatever coping mechanism and tools, whatever. And the thing about it, all therapists ain't the same. Therapists don't fit you, whatever the case may be. Find the one that's right for you. And I appreciate you from doing the right thing. You, the person that wrote in, you, and you was like, hey, something's wrong. Yeah. Let me go get this checked out. Because also, it is your personal responsibility for your mental health. And online tells you the complete opposite. It is your responsibility. I shouldn't have to deal with the things that are happening in your life. You ought to take some personal responsibility and fix the shit. But social media tells you that you're all right, even though you're spiraling out of control.
Yeah. My favorite episode of I May Destroy You is the one where she goes to the doctor and her friend dresses down the doctor as if the doctor's fucking like not a doctor, and says the doctor is racist for bringing up that people of African descent have high blood pressure as a risk issue for early strokes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And obviously the main character, she is like stressed out and all this stuff, and the friend who's gone to the doctor with the main character, she's like cussing the doctor out, basically be like, you racist piece of shit. And I said, oh my God, this is some of the most beautiful writing I've ever seen, because that is a thing we're experiencing right now. Mm-hmm. Is fuck your expertise if I don't like it, as opposed to being like, okay, thank you for doing your job. Now I have to decide what I'm gonna do about this.
Yes,
like, it's not that they can't make me eat less salty food.
It's your choice.
But you've given me the right information, which is all your job is. And if it's a risk factor, that's part of your job to tell me that. So anyway, great. Anyway, back to this. Mm-hmm. While on the level, yes, I do think that on my ancestors' wildest dreams, on another, I think they fought for their free will and stole that what joy and peace they could when they could, instead of listing out every single infraction. Unless we're talking I to B, because that, let's be real, sis invented the think piece. Listen, and nobody liked their ass because of it. It's crazy. Ida, Sword Among Lions, I cannot recommend that book highly enough. One of our most impressive, fascinating Americans ever. Like, and when you see that she literally would have died, she literally did die in obscurity, where they tried to erase her out of history because none of the other blacks liked her. Mm-hmm. She had pissed off everybody. Like, just down the list. NAACP tried to erase her from history and shit. She pissed off Booker T. Like, Mary Church, Terrell, like everybody was like, fuck Ida B. Wells, and she pretty much died unknown. And she was the person that was most responsible for tracking lynching in America at a dangerous time as a black woman, traveling places alone to document in these hostile towns that had just killed some black people, why those black people got killed. Oh my goodness. Frederick Douglass, like, she fell out with everybody. Great book, by the way, because they got the letters from them falling out. and you can read the back and forth, and it was spicy. I was like, I know this white woman is not coming at her like this. But yeah, she said, it's a sick cycle. You're absolutely on to something. P.S. I'm so embarrassed. This is already long as fuck. But on the QAnon note, I think that a lot of well-meaning white people got pulled down the rabbit hole out of genuine care for children. Child sex trafficking became a huge topic of conversation in their circles, and it's not a reality. They took a piece of reality and distorted it. When you think about Warren Jeffs and other devious religious leaders, the baby farm can currently still operate at Liberty University, and especially Epstein and friends. Those are very real extreme abuses of power. I can see how they could take something that was real and all of a sudden everything seems plausible, the same way some black people do when they reference the Tuskegee experiments. I completely agree with that. And the last thing I'll say about that too, it's, if it weren't for the racism, they might could have did something with that. Because that's one that I think everyone agree with, right? Don't we all think no child sex slavery shit don't is it not a lot of people on that not a lot of people on that, like
small percentage, but most of us are like, no,
not a lot of people on that ship of the let's keep that going. So it's kind of interesting that if it were not for racism, they might have been able to like just keep Trump out of the White House. That QAnon shit should have never been part of like, and Trump is secretly with us. It should have been, and he's part of the people that need to go down. But he was saying that racism, and racism is the biggest fucking exploit in American history, because
a hell of a drug.
The way that shit warps people into being like, I will make it work. Like, it doesn't make sense. My brain will make it make sense, because at the end of the day, I don't like them others.
Yep. Well, whoever them others is. Yep, others.
5-star from Ro from VA. Good day, Rod and Karen. Love y'all so much, like my cousins on my daddy's side. I know I've been listening for 5 years or more. Thank you all for the love and laughter and through audio. Keep going, 5 stars. Also, it seems as though every time I wear this shirt, it's like y'all screaming, I want to taste that. I feel like this could be lip smacking good t-shirt idea. And let me show you guys this shirt. And she said it because the shirt has listen, I do the same thing. I don't even wear white. I don't even try to wear white colors, because it's like Salsa be like, oh, is a party for one on this shirt? Because
not a party for one.
She got stains on the shirt from food falling on it. Listen, story of my life. Story of my life. Okay,
that's hilarious.
I 100%. I know that story. I live that story. It's the worst. Oh man. So and then everyone's like, once about every year or so, I'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna make this light colored shirt work. I'm going out and eating in this, and it don't work.
Works.
Don't work out. Let's see. Miss Smart says, sword related America has a problem. Karen Rye, have y'all seen this? This man threatened to kill 30,000 black people. This was after he was already partially decapitated someone with a sword. Oh, that part wasn't even in the story, but we did talk about him because I said he was very ambitious.
Right.
So he had already did that. Wow. Woof. Personally, I'm adding swords to my list of tools. American racist love, noose, Fox News, swords, burning crosses, German shepherds, and water hoses. Those are fraternal twins. Agreed. Keep your head on the swivel and attached to your body. Cheers, Miss Smart. Thank you. She put Africans use machetes as her.
Come on, we love a good machete, don't we?
As her signature. Last one, Celeste. Hi, Rod and Karen. Hope all is well with you. The whole glasses discussion was so funny to me. Over the years, my family has had similar reactions to some of the different styles that I choose to. But it's funny, it only takes a few weeks and they become so much a part of my daily routine. I don't even notice them anymore. The discussion about whether or not auntie or uncle is something to be accepted or rejected feels so odd to me. I don't know if the discussion feels like gender wars, but for age, if people really feel that way, it feels so off to me. Yeah, and I respect how people feel, where they come down on things. I personally am a big believer in, as long as it's not disrespectful.
Yep.
I'm not going to I'll call you and address you however you want to be addressed, because it's just easy and it's a sign of respect. It's one of the reasons I really, really, really will never understand that level of transphobia where it's like, no, yo daddy named you John, I'ma dead name you. Because I'm like, when do we do that with anything?
Right.
I got friends I've been calling like Lil TJ and Junebug and fucking Flip and shit, Deuce, Twin.
Forever.
I don't know these niggas' real names, and it don't matter. I know
don't matter.
the respectful thing is that's what they want to be called, and if it's not like it's not like they making me call them daddy or some shit,
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not making me call them anything that will make me feel like a bitch. So yeah, I got you. Like, why is this a problem for somebody? You don't gotta be like, it's not, academics don't gotta even enter into this. Like, pronouns in the bio don't even have to enter into this. I never needed pronouns in the bio to go play ball at the court and everybody got a fucking nickname and I'm calling them whatever the fuck they want to be called. That's it.
Because it's that simple.
Yeah, I play ball with so many like mask lesbian like women that it, you know, like it, and they got ways they like to be referred to, and it's not the same way you would not necessarily treat just a woman you met on the street or a more femmed up woman. It was, when I tell y'all, 0 issues at the court, 0 my whole life. And then you get on Twitter and it's like, I refuse. Oh, okay, weirdo.
Right.
Like, no, none of us were tracking this before, at least in my experience. Maybe there's a place where people really, really, really gave a fuck, but I
right and
0 times cared.
Right, and it's also, I understand everybody has different experiences and things like this, and just like a lot of things, I think people overblow things online sometimes.
Yeah.
When in reality, it would be a completely different situation. You would adapt or adjust, or even if you said the same thing, you would say you wouldn't be screaming it and yelling it and being confrontational with people.
And even with auntie, if you say you don't want to be called that, I won't call you that. Like,
agreed.
Once again, I didn't even think it was a big deal when Oprah and them said they didn't want to go by that. Cool, I won't call you that. And they had their own reasons, and their reasons are tied up in a bunch of shit that we all have to deal with. So to me, it's not even like I can't even understand how you got there. No, for Oprah and Gayle, it seemed to be on some like level of like, this is what we do to women that we have courted away out of sexuality and power and all this stuff in their minds. Like these, now when you call me auntie, you might as well be calling me grandmama or something. And they are older women, aging women that are like, that may feel like, nah, I still like the power of my sexuality and allure and all that and charm, and I feel like auntie don't get enough of that. Okay, cool. What am I? No, you auntie. Nah, okay, cool. Like,
right.
Gayle.
It is what it is, right?
You know, I just never really found the.
Why am I gonna argue with you about
Yeah,
something
I just
like
never.
that? It don't make sense.
I never found the point of debating it. Also, the politics till we get mad segment is always on point. I was so glad, but I was both glad and sad to see VP Harris more recently on the Colbert Show. To me, there were layers to what she was saying and not saying. I would have loved for her to be Gov of California, as I would have and still would appreciate her leadership if she chose to run in 2028 for president. But a large part of me feels like this is just such a setup. You can see it online. The people, especially the class of liberal, progressive Democrats or whatever, still making it about criticizing her, Biden and the Dems TM or whatever, except for themselves. Yeah, it's a setup for sure. The pettiest part of me wants her to run again. If that's a thing. The pettiest part of me wants to run again because I am at this point such a angry asshole about it that I'm like, it's like how you have a kid that don't appreciate the hard work you put into cooking dinner for this motherfucker every night, and you bring them that spaghetti, and after you done slaved all day for the white man, then slaved over the hot stove for their ass,
right? And
then you make them the spaghetti, and they go, "Mama, I don't want spaghetti. Let's order pizza." And like, you go, so you just gonna go to bed without eating, or you gonna eat spaghetti? And they be like, "I'll go to bed without eating." And you go, "Okay, I'll call you bluff. Go to bed without eating."
I call you
and then
bluff.
they go get in the bed, and they be laying there hungry, and then they come back down later, and they be sitting at the table, and you be like, "Oh, what's wrong? You hungry?" And they like, "Yes." And you like, what's up? And they go, "I'm hungry for pizza." I'm gonna put the plate of spaghetti in front of you. That's what I feel like doing. Now that's probably not smart. Like,
these are the choices.
I'm that angry that I'm like, do it again, motherfuckers. Do it again. Let's just keep doing this. Let's see how long we gonna take till y'all be like, you know what? Looking at a third run of Trump, I think a black woman would be just fine. I think she'd be just fucking fine. You know, the most qualified candidate we ever had. I think I'm feeling her now. That's what I want to do. Because I'm so fucking sick of these white folks who keep holding up their nose like, spaghetti? Nigga, we worked hard on this goddamn spaghetti.
Yes, we did.
You ain't never had no spaghetti like this. They ain't got this spaghetti at motherfucking Olive Garden, nigga. This is better. Okay, it's some love and put into this spaghetti.
Right.
This professional quality of spaghetti. Your mama's a chef. And you sitting over talking about some Pizza Hut, nigga. Then let's see you go to bed hungry again. Now that's wrong, because if I don't want to go to bed hungry again, I'm when the kid don't eat in this scenario, we all don't get to eat.
We all don't eat.
But goddamn, boy, I'm so pissed that I'm just like, but then tell her no again. And if in 2032, let's see what y'all feel then. How far we got to go into this motherfucking Great Depression before y'all be like, well, shit then. Right. Now that I don't have any rights.
Right. Now I ain't got nowhere to stay.
I'm not surprised because they never saw the light with their I can't vote for Hillary BS. So why would this be any different? Yeah, and too many people let them cook with that. Y'all know me, man. I don't have these conversations often because I'm a bad person at having these conversations because I don't like to let any of it slide. And I definitely can't be talking to people that's like, yeah, but Hillary was kind of, fuck you.
Right.
Now I'm the bad guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So let's not even have a conversation about it.
Hillary wasn't perfect. Was she better than Trump? Because I thought that's what the choices were.
I thought, me too.
Well, you know, she didn't. I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to.
I don't know who these people are. I don't know any of the people too stupid to know she was better. I don't know the people. And I'm not interested in discussing anything with those people. And I'm not giving them any slack or any cut for that.
No, be on your ass.
That's how Kamala loses too, is because we give people a little slack. Well, they didn't have a primary. Did you need a primary to know she was better than Trump? Why are we kidding ourselves?
Right.
But yeah, never admit they got caught up in disinformation and misinformation that, well, I guess I'll vote for her, but they are evil or the same. They're not pushing back on family and friends. Never acknowledging they actually did prove about the 2016 with foreign interference in social media to influence voters, and they got caught up in it. Yeah, and now Trump's talking about targeting Obama for investigating the Russian interference into the election. I feel a bit like I did in 2020. I supported her run then, but understood the pragmatic choice of an old white man, Biden. I feel no proof just reading a bit between the lines of what VP Harris and the black woman press secretary said. They saw how certain people went after the old white man and her after all they did to help people and actually listen even to their critics. I know it would be a million times worse for her again. Is it even worth it for a black person to run again? I don't know, because they want a transformative Obama person, and honestly, I don't even know that will work because they turned on Obama. So I just don't think there is a type of black person this country would vote for.
No.
This country is truly showing what they have always been and why it takes so much work to make incremental process. The majority, which is white, who make up approximately 60 to 70% of the electorate, generally don't want better if any other group of people have a chance to get that too. And to Karen's point that she always raises, I don't even know when they suffer that they will change. They are so set up to deflect accountability. I don't know if they can change their minds or behavior.
The reason why I said the suffering, because that's how we got Obama. What people fail to realize, the economy was on the verge of collapsing. That honestly, that's when we change. When people are frightened, when people are scared, when people are uncertainty, that's when their pockets start hurting. When their money goes down and their taxes, their stocks start tanking. When people are scared, like I said, it can happen. I've seen them get scared enough, because not at any other time would Obama ever would have got elected. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Never would have got elected, and if the economy would have been somewhat better.
And historically, this is the truth. So once again, I don't think I'm a cynic. I don't think I'm an optimist. I think I'm a realist. The only consistent through line in American history when it comes to our elections is Republicans or conservatives. Let's say conservatives, because I know the party switched at one point. Conservatives and their policies typically lead to ruination. And while white people do not catch that first, right? Black people catch a flu, they catch the cold, right? The white people, but it does get to them eventually.
It does get to them.
This Trump shit is actually the Republican stuff on fast forward, so I think it's actually going to hit them faster than they think.
Yes, sir.
But what will happen, I think, is that there will be enough suffering that a Democrat will be elected again in America at some point for president. I don't know if they'll have all the resources. I don't know if they'll have Congress and the Senate. I don't know how that'll work.
Right.
But I don't think it's I don't think it's beyond reason to think a Democrat will win again with all the suffering that's about to happen. The problem for me is that people will work backwards from the result and then go, look at that. White people have changed. These are the best white people of all time.
Right.
They understand racism is wrong, and they understand that Trump and white supremacy is wrong. So they voted against that. This was us throwing off the shackles of white supremacy and becoming a liberal utopia. And that is the part that I reject, because it is not that.
It's not the
truth. It is the suffering.
Yes, it's not the truth, because that's the bullshit they said about Obama. And people's like, nigga, racism is still real. The fuck y'all talking about?
I voted for Obama twice, then Trump twice, 3 times. Like, yeah, because you're a racist.
Right.
Like, it didn't, the one doesn't offset the other. If the fact you even bringing that up is cover for you to go back to being racist, then you already lost the plot.
Right.
Anyway, but I do acknowledge that there are some elected leaders doing everything they can, largely black people, with some others. The Texas Dems, the governor of New York and Illinois, the governor of Dinner Party Newsom, he's problematic, but hopefully will come through. We aren't perfect and don't get to choose perfect people, but if they are doing the right thing for positive progress and push it back on BS, then good.
I agree.
Yeah, of course. And also, you know, no matter how I feel about these people, I'd vote for all of these people over Trump. And it's not, and I wouldn't be conflicted, just for the record. I voted for Bernie Sanders over Trump so quick, it's not, I don't have the hang-ups that
other people
like
have.
White liberals get to have these weird hang-ups where they get to be like, then I guess the country should burn, where I'm like, as a black person, no,
bitch,
never.
I don't want the country to burn.
Yeah, never. So yeah, I knew Biden and Clinton worked on the crime bill. Okay.
Right. And
the other person was a guy who was going to keep the crime bill going in 2025. Like, what are we arguing?
Right.
Anyway, I have a good book recommendation for Karen. It would be a great audiobook too. The Black Girl's Guide to Breathing by Jasmine Marie. I really enjoyed it. She has a website and community called Sunday Bomb. It costs, but there are some free meditations for the sample. Take care, Celeste.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Celeste. And thank you, everybody, for your feedback. That was cool. That was fun. We'll be back throughout the week. We don't have any guests currently this week, but I know coming up soon, next Sunday, Brandon Collins from Drunk Black History and Medium Popcorn will be the guest. And I want to say a couple Tuesdays from now, Kevin Fredericks, aka Kevin on Stage, will be the guest.
That should be fun.
Which imagine the chat room will be full. That'll be
fun. Yeah, I'm about to say get ready to pay that fee.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, and I know a couple other people I got to reach out to get on the show too. But yeah, we'll be back with more of this throughout the week. Until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for hanging.